Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 11, the Transcendental Qualities of Vritrasura, verse number 21. Aham samadhaya mano yathahanaha sankarshanastaccharanaravinде tvadvajraramho lulitagramya pasho gatim muneryamyapaviddhalokaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. By the force of your thunderbolt, I shall be freed of material bondage and shall give up this body and this world of material desires. Fixing my mind upon the lotus feet of Lord Sankarshana, I shall attain the destination of such great sages as Narada Muni, just as Lord Sankarshana has said. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The words Aham Samadhaya Manaha indicate that the most important duty at the time of death is to concentrate one's mind. If one can fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, Vishnu, Sankarshana, or any Vishnu Murti, his life will be successful. To be killed while fixing his mind at the lotus feet of Sankarshana, Vritrasura asked Indra to release his Vajra or thunderbolt. He was destined to be killed by the thunderbolt given by Lord Vishnu. There was no question of its being baffled. Therefore, Vritrasura requested Indra to release the thunderbolt immediately, and he prepared himself by fixing his mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. A devotee is always ready to give up his material body, which is described herein as Gramya Pasha, the rope of material attachment. The body is not at all good. It is simply a cause of bondage to the material world. Unfortunately, even though the body is destined for destruction, fools and rascals invest all their faith in the body and are never eager to return home back to Godhead. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. 5,000 years ago, when Lord Krishna decided to advent on this earth to reduce the burden of the earth on account of the atheistic kings who had taken control of the different kingdoms, and instead of propagating dharma or devotional service to Krishna, they were all engaged in self-aggrandizement, increasing their power, increasing their wealth, and all these kind of things. So at that time, Krishna decided to advent as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. And when Vasudeva and Devaki were getting married, at that time Kamsa was driving the chariot of his sister Devaki. And there was this Ashari Ravani, this formless voice which declared to Kamsa that the 8th child of his sister was going to be the cause of his death. So from that moment, Kamsa was seized with fear, constantly thinking of who is that person who is going to be born, who is going to kill me. I have to kill him before he comes and reaches me. And so like this, Kamsa was sending various asuras, demons, to different parts of his kingdom to kill all the children who had been born during that period. So many asuras were sent, Arishtasura, Bakasura, Putana, so many people, Aghasura, etc. They were all killed by Krishna. Eventually, the truth of who Krishna was revealed to Kamsa by Narada Muni. So then Kamsa devised a plan. How to capture Krishna and then kill him. If Kamsa were to take the army and go to Vrindavan, Krishna would come to know. Then he will run away, he will hide somewhere. So he had to capture Krishna very tactfully. So what he did, he called Akrura and told Akrura the whole matter. And he said, I am going to organize a wrestling match and call all the residents of Vrindavan. I will invite many people to come and see. We will make it a big festival. We will organize worship of the bow, Lord Shiva's bow, and all these kind of things. We'll make it appear like a big mela. You go and bring Krishna and Balaram, as if you are inviting them for the mela. And there I will organize to take care of him. So this was Kamsa's plan. So Akrura went. He got Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. And when Krishna and Balaram reached Mathura, it was late in the evening. So they put up camp outside Mathura. They didn't enter the city. And all the Nanda Maharaj and all the Gopas who were accompanying them, they all put up the tent. They were all staying. Then Krishna and Balaram along with the Gopas entered Mathura just to take a look, because they had heard Mathura is a big city. Vrindavan is a simple village. Mathura is a big bustling city. So even today, if you see, we are in Bangalore now. Somebody from the rural areas of Karnataka, first time he comes to Bangalore, he will go, he will see MG Road, he will see Commercial Street, he will go and see Vidhan Sauda, then he will come here also, Hare Krishna Hill, isn't it? All places to visit. So like that, for all the cowherd boyfriends of Krishna and Balaram, it was exciting. Mathura, big city. Let us go and see different places. So they went around. So many Leelas Krishna did there. And in the morning, next day morning, they all decided to, Krishna and Balaram decided to enter the arena. They were well aware, because Akrura had already told them what was Kamsa's plan. And at the entrance to the arena, the wrestling arena, where a lot of wrestlers were coming and they were going to showcase their skills. So there was, Kamsa had organized one very big elephant called Kuvalaya Pida to stand there. The idea was that when Krishna and Balaram will come, elephant will trample them and kill them. And if somehow Krishna and Balaram managed to escape Kuvalaya Pida, then he had called all his close friends, Chanura, Mushtika, Tosala, Shala, and all these kind of people. And he told them that, you see, this Krishna is foretold to be my death, so you have to kill him. They said, don't worry. And they are slapping their arms and all. We are all here, don't worry. All big wrestlers, So, Krishna and Balaram came, and we all know the story. Kovalaya Pida, how he was killed and all that. And then they went into that arena. They broke that bow. All this happened. And this happened the previous day. Next day, Krishna and Balaram, they were dressed very nicely, and they were, wearing the garlands and all that, and they entered the arena. So when they entered the arena, and in the arena, you can imagine, there is like a stadium, all the people sit around. Kamsa had invited a lot of his friends. The kings had also come. Many sages had come. And of course, all the residents of Mathura, they were all assembled there. And in the middle of that stadium, there is this wrestling arena. And different kinds of music and all those things are going on. And so, when all this, tumult is going on, suddenly Krishna and Balaram walk into the arena. Everybody stops and turns. And everybody's gaze is fixed on Krishna and Balaram. And for the Mathuravasis, it is a feast for the eyes. They had all heard a lot about Krishna and Balaram. Beautiful boys. They are always in the cow, in the Vrindavan forest, grazing the cows and all that. And Krishna's beauty is unparalleled, all that. First time they were seeing Krishna. They were all mesmerized. And of course, for Kamsa and for all the wrestlers, when they saw Krishna, Krishna was tender, young youth, about 16 years old. Very tender, soft, delicate body. Beautiful looking, with a, nice, wonderful garland. But when they saw, they did not see a tender, delicate person. They saw this Krishna, he is powerful, not an ordinary person. But don't worry, we will take care. So as soon as Krishna and Balaram entered, Chanura and Mushtika came to Krishna and Balaram, told, Krishna and Balaram, we have heard that you do a lot of wrestling. So we want to wrestle with you today, come. So Krishna looked at him and he said, you are all big wrestlers, we are all small boys, what we will fight with you? We simply, our wrestling and all is simply in the forest, we, friends, we wrestle together. You are all professional wrestlers, how can we? We are no match for you. Then Chanura said, Krishna, no, we have heard how many asuras you have killed. You're not an ordinary boy. Come, don't worry. So then, okay, Krishna said, okay. So Krishna grappled with Chanura and Balaram battled Mushtika. So hand to hand, leg to leg, pushing each other, pulling each other. One person is catching the other from behind and throwing him on the ground. And the other one is catching the other's leg and pulling. And then, hitting each other with the fist, evading. All this is going on. Intense battle between the two of them. And then, so like this, the fight was going on. And the people who are watching, the Mathura Vasis, they were saying, what is this injustice here? They are not evenly matched. These are just simple young boys. Look at their bodies, so tender. And look at these Chanura, Mushtika and all these people. They are like mountains. So much rippling muscles and, built like mountains. And in front of him, what is this, Krishna and Balaram? This is not at all correct. Yeah, they were talking like this. And then Vasudeva and Devaki were also seated. Nanda Maharaj was also seated. They became very anxious. What is going to happen to our son? Great anxiety. When Krishna saw that everybody's anxiety is increasing too much, he decided enough. So, Krishna gave 3 blows to the chest of Chanura. And Chanura got jolted. Everybody was stunned. What is this? Small boy, he gave 3 blows and Chanura is shaking. Then Chanura, caught hold of his 2 fists and attacked Krishna, hitting him on his chest. And Krishna is unmoved. As if, for an elephant you throw a garland, whatever, nothing. Krishna immediately caught hold of Chanura's 2 hands, then lifted him and started wheeling him around. And fatar, threw him on the ground. Chanura finished, gone, dead. Everybody is stunned. What has happened? Unexpected result. Nobody ever thought, everybody was thinking Chanura will left Krishna and he will wheel him around and throw him to, here the reverse has happened. Everybody is stunned. And then Balaram also saw. Now Balaram, he's also not going to keep quiet. He gave 1 blow to Mushtika on his chest. Mushtika took a few steps backward, started vomiting blood. And his whole body started shaking, fell down, he also died. So immediately the other wrestlers saw, because Chanura and Mushtika were their number 1 and 2 wrestlers. My God, what has happened? So immediately another fellow, Kuta, came forward. And he attacked Krishna. Krishna, he gave him 1 kick. Like you see all this WWE and all that, 1 kick he gave. Kuta's head split into 2 and he fell down and he also died. Another fellow, he also came. Shala, he came forward and started fighting with Balaram. Balaram finished him also. Like this, one after another. Tosala and all these wrestlers came, all of them finished. And suddenly everybody saw all the wrestlers are finished and Krishna and Balaram are victorious. So everybody started applauding. And a great Jai, Jai, Jai like that is going on. So Kamsa is saying, my God, what has happened? Immediately he called his army. Hey, come, capture these 2 boys, put them in the jail. And immediately kill Vasudeva and Devaki. And capture Nanda and all the cowherds also. Put them also into jail. He started giving orders like this. So immediately, and now what happened in the arena, like a stadium it is organized, and Kamsa was sitting at the topmost position. So Krishna immediately jumped and he reached that stage where Kamsa was sitting. Kamsa was prepared. He had, he had a last resort. And if somehow or the other Krishna reaches to me, I will have to personally take care of myself. So he immediately unsheathed his sword, took up his shield and started attacking Krishna. But Krishna very easily evaded him. He caught hold of him and knocked off Kamsa's crown, caught Kamsa by the hair and started dragging him down and took him into the middle of the stadium. And then because Vasudeva and Devaki were in great anxiety, Kamsa has killed so many of our children. Now he will kill Krishna and Balaram also. They were in that anxiety. So to give them assurance, Krishna held Kamsa's hair and started dragging him around as if he was just some paper toy. And then Krishna straddled his chest and using his fist, he began to slam his chest. Kamsa's chest. And simply by Krishna's fist, Kamsa died there itself. And so like this, Krishna and Balaram freed Vasudeva and Devaki and restored Ugrasena to the throne. And so this is how Krishna vanquished Kamsa and freed his parents and brought back Ugrasena as the king of Mathura. Now, in this whole incident, when Krishna was grappling with Chanura, and the real exertion is happening, wrestling is not an easy task, and Chanura was also powerful. So Krishna was pushing, pulling, holding his hands, chest, head to head, chest to chest, and all these maneuvers are going on, wrestling maneuvers. So Krishna's forehead was covered with perspiration. Now, when all this was going on, the women folk of Mathura, they were also in great anxiety. They said, what is this injustice? Krishna and Balaram are such tender boys. This is an uneven fight. Dharma has left this assembly and the king is sitting quietly and watching. What is this? So like this, the women were talking to one another. Suddenly, one of the women said, wait. Look at Krishna's face. They forgot everything else. They forgot Chanura, Mushtika, everything. All the women started looking at Krishna's face. Look at his beautiful face. And look at the beads of perspiration glistening on his forehead. It looks exactly like a lotus on which a few drops of water are moving back and forth. Ah, what beauty of Krishna. And then the women of Mathura started appreciating. First time we are seeing Krishna, such a beautiful person. Look at the gopis, the women of Vrindavan. Pratar vrajad vrajata avishatascha sayam gobihi samam kvanayato asya nishamya venum nirgamya turnam abalaha. So the abalaha, the women of Vrindavan, the ladies of Mathura, they are talking amongst themselves. The women of Vrindavan, the gopis, every day morning in Vrindavan, pratat vrajat, from Vrindavan, pratar vrajat vrajata. Krishna goes out of Vrindavan in the early morning. He goes out of Vraja and takes all the cows to the forest. And pratar vrajat vrajata avishatascha sayam. And every day in the evening, he comes back after grazing the cows in the forest. He brings all the cows back. Gobihi samam, along with all the cows, hordes of cows. Krishna is bringing all of them back. Early morning, he sets out with the cows, and every day evening, he comes back. And how does he do this? Kvanayato asya nishamya venum. And he does this while playing his flute. So you can imagine, early morning, Krishna is waking up, playing his flute, and with all his cowherd friends, they are taking the cows to Vrindavan forest for grazing. And again in the evening, when the cows are coming back, in the horizon, everybody could see the dust rising up from the, walking of the cows. And then they could hear the flute of Krishna. Krishna is coming back with the cows. So, the gopis, every day, when they would hear Krishna's flute in the morning, they would know, yes, Krishna is now taking the cows to the forest. And in the evening, when they would hear the Krishna's flute, they will know, now Krishna is coming back with the cows. And Nishamya, when they would hear Krishna's flute, what they would do? Nirgamya turnam abalaha. They would immediately come out of their houses. And Pati, on the path, the path which leads to the forest, they would stand there and keep waiting, watching. So what they would, Punya, Vrajavadu, all these the gopis, the women of Vrindavan, they are waiting for what? For Pashyanti Sasmita Mukham Sadayava Lokam. They would be waiting to see the lotus face of Krishna. In the morning, when Krishna is blowing the flute and coming with the cows, they would come out of their houses and see, oh, Krishna is coming there. And that lotus face of Krishna, Sasmita Mukham, he would also look at the gopis with a beautiful, gentle smile on his face. Sasmita Mukham, Sadayavalokam, and with great compassion, he would look upon the gopis. And same thing in the evening, they would be waiting for Krishna to come back. So you see, we are getting to see Krishna after 11 years. The Mathura women are talking. The gopis of Vrindavan, every day, morning and evening, they are watching Krishna. They are seeing Krishna. What fortune these women of Vrindavan have got. Now, morning Krishna is going, the gopis watched him. Evening Krishna is coming back, they saw Krishna. In between, what are they doing? Because it's a long gap. Early morning Krishna went, late in the evening he is coming back around sunset. So now in between this time, say morning 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock Krishna left. He is coming back in the evening, 12 hours. What are the gopis doing? Yadohane avahanane matanopalepa prenkhen kanarba ruditokshana marjanadav. So the gopis are, during the daytime, after Krishna has left for Vrindavan along with the cows, he is engaged in, the gopis are engaged in various activities. What are the activities? Yadohane, they were milking the cows which were left back, or Yadohane avahanane, or they were threshing the paddy, taking out the wheat, taking out the rice and all that. And then Yadohane avahanane matana, they were gathering all the cow dung and making cakes out of that and drying it in the sun. And not only that, they were also, they were sprinkling water on the courtyard, because north, especially Vrindavan and all, is very dusty. So they would sprinkle water on the courtyard, outside their houses and all that, to keep the levels of dust low. And then Marjanado, cleaning the house. Rudita, Arba Rudita, children would be crying, they would take care of them, they would pacify them, feed them, and keep them, quiet and all this. And then when they would get a little free time, Prenkhen Kana, they would sit on a swing and they would play. So looks like ordinary activities, right? Ordinary cowherd women in the village, they are making cow dung cakes, they are milking the cows, they are sometime playing on the swing, they are taking care of the children, cleaning the house. Looks like all ordinary activities. But there is one difference. So the Mathura ladies, they said, although they were engaged in all these things, Gayanti Chainam. So while they were doing all these activities, what they were doing? They were constantly singing. Gayanti Chainam. What were they singing? They were singing about the holy names of Krishna and the pastimes of Krishna. And how were they doing? Anurakta Diyo, Ashru Kantyo. Anurakta Diyo, when they were singing Krishna's holy name and qualities and pastimes, they were doing it Anurakta Diyo, with great love, great attachment. So you can imagine, they are sweeping the floor, they are singing about Krishna with great love and attachment. They are milking the cow, they are singing Krishna's holy names with great love and attachment. And they are pacifying their children, constantly singing about Krishna with great love and attachment. They are sitting on the swing, they are singing Krishna's glories with great attachment. And when they would do this, Anurakta Diyo Ashru Kantyo, tears would flow from their eyes and their voices would get choked. Dhanya Vrajastriya Urukramachittayanaha. Like this, they would engage in their activities but constantly singing about Krishna. Why? Because Urukrama Chittayana, their minds were absorbed in Krishna. Although Krishna had already gone to the forest, Chittayana, their minds were completely absorbed in Krishna. So much so that even while cleaning the house, taking care of the children, milking the cows, while they were doing, and they were churning the curd, all these activities they were doing, but their minds were not in the activities they were doing. Their minds were absorbed in Krishna, tears flowing from their eyes, voices choked, and constantly singing the glories and pastimes of Krishna. So, although they were externally engaged in the activities, their minds were not in the activities. Their minds were absorbed in Krishna. And so, the Mathura ladies, they said, Dhanya Vrajastriya, these Vrajastris, the gopis, they are most fortunate. They have attained such love for Krishna. So, to attain that state where one's mind is absorbed in Krishna, even though one may be engaged in all kinds of ordinary activities, That state is a very high state of perfection to be achieved, to be desired to be achieved. Even the Mathura, ladies of Mathura are saying, actually if you see, Mathura was a very opulent city. And all these women were all from very affluent families, very privileged families. So they were quite, in that sense, from affluent families. They had all facilities. They were very rich and opulent. Lot of servants in the home, lot of ornaments. All these things they had. But they were saying the simple cowherd girls of Vrindavan, they are very fortunate. We may have so much wealth, and we may be in the middle of a bustling city and all these kind of things. But the real fortunate people are the gopis of Vrindavan. Why? Because Urukrama Chitta Yana, their minds are absorbed in Krishna. So actually, the same mood was displayed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Jagannath Puri, every day Mahaprabhu had a schedule. Early morning he would wake up, he would chant his rounds, then he would go to Jagannath, have darshan of Jagannath, and then he would come back by noon. After that somebody would invite him for prasadam. Mahaprabhu would go take prasadam. Then in the evening he will engage in Sankirtan. Then in the night he will go to Gambhira. There he will talk with Ramananda Raya and Sarup Damodar, like this. So the Lord had a fixed schedule, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was engaged in all these activities, how was he engaged? The Antilila of the Chaitanya Charitamrita states, Unmattera Praya, Prabhu Korayana, Gana Nritya. Every day, Unmattera Praya, like a madman, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would Korayana, Gana Nritya. He would constantly sing and dance during the whole day about Krishna, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna's holy name. And Dehera Swabhave, Korayana Snana Bhojana Kritya. He had to take bath, he had to carry out his, he had to wear his clothes, and then he had to have his lunch, all these kind of things. Those things, Dehera Swabhave, it would all happen by habit. Mechanically, Mahaprabhu would do all this. His mind is absorbed in Krishna, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the holy name of Krishna, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's pastimes. How he took bath, how he ate, how he dressed, he was never conscious of that. It was going on automatically. So you see, this is the state of the gopis which was reflected by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna in the mood of the gopis. So he demonstrated how the regular activities of eating, taking bath, wearing clothes, going out, all these kind of things, Mahaprabhu was completely unconscious of all these things. It is all happening by habit. Mechanically it is going on. While mind is absorbed in chanting Krishna's holy name. What is our situation? We will very consciously eat, very consciously take bath, very consciously dress. When it comes to chanting, very mechanically we will do. Reverse. That is our state. Why? Because we are in the bodily concept of life. Our love for Krishna has not awakened. Therefore, our mind is not absorbed in Krishna. Our mind is absorbed in our body. So, all the Dehera Kriya, whatever the bodily activities are there, we consciously do everything very nicely. Little bit, prasadam, little salt, up and down. Hey, what is this? Not at all good. Call the cook, fire him. Chanting Hare Krishna mantra, something and all will be going on. Whether it is Hare Krishna mantra also, we don't know. Something is going on. 2 hours, somehow finish, get up, run away. So that has to change. So it is a process. By doing devotional service, gradually the absorption of the mind will shift. Eventually, we have to come to a state where eating, bathing, wearing clothes, walking, going somewhere, all these activities have to go on mechanically. Whereas our mind has to be absorbed in Krishna, Krishna's holy name. When we chant Hare Krishna mantra, constantly we should be hearing the Hare Krishna mantra. That absorption has to come. And that absorption in the holy name of Krishna is actually what Krishna also tells in the Bhagavad Gita we have to achieve. In the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Uddared Atmanatmanam Naivatmanam Avasadayet. Atmaiva hi atmano bandhur atmaiva ripuratmanaha. This is a beautiful verse where Krishna says, one should elevate oneself with one's mind. One should not cause degradation of oneself because of one's mind. One's mind is one's friend and one's mind is one's enemy. This is what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. And in the purport to that, Prabhupada quotes one Amrita Bindu Upanishad to elaborate on this verse. And Prabhupada quotes that verse. Mana eva manushyanam karana bandha mokshayoho bandhaya vishaya sango muktyai nirvishayam manaha. The mind is both the cause of bondage as well as liberation. Vishaya sanga, when our mind is absorbed in the objects of material sense gratification, our mind becomes the cause of bondage, bandhaya. And muktyai, for liberation, the same mind, nirvishayam, when it becomes no longer attached to the objects of the senses, then the same mind becomes the cause of liberation. So, as long as we are in the bodily concept of life, our mind will be absorbed in Vishaya Sangha. It will be absorbed in objects of the senses. The taste of the prasadam, very important for me. How I look when I dress, everything should be ironed, very neat, no creases. This is important for me. So Vishaya Sangha, this appears important to us right now in our bodily concept of life. But of course, because we are in devotional service, all these things are purifying us. In the material world, when we do these same things, what happens? We become more and more attached to the objects of the senses. Same activities, eating, sleeping, dressing ourselves, looking at ourselves in the mirror, how we are nicely dressed or not. All these things, when we do in the material world, for material purposes, it binds us more and more to the world. Deha patya kalatradishu atma sainyeshu asatswapi. Tesham nidanam pashyan napina pashyati. So in the material world, we are attached to deha, apatya, kalatra, to our body, to our children, to our relatives, to our wife, to our husband. These things, we are attached to them. And for that attachment's sake, we engage in various activities. Gathering money, meeting people, doing so many things. So all these things, actually what happens? Deha patya kalatradishu atma sainyeshu asatswapi. We are considering atma sainya. These are all mine. They are my possessions which I have to take care of. And because of that, what happens? Tesham nidanam pasyan api na pashyati. We don't realize that all these things are asat sainya. One day I will have to leave them. One day they have to leave me and go. Everybody has to die. And although in front of my eyes, I am seeing all my relatives, friends, one by one dying, it will never strike me that my near and dear ones, my wife, my children, they will also die one day. I also have to die one day. This will never strike us. So, the same activities, when our mind is absorbed in that, and when we are doing those things for our material possessions, for increasing our material possessions and protecting our material possessions, hankering and lamentation. So what happens? We will forget the reality. We will become out of touch with reality. That I am not this body is Nashvara. These things will not strike us. But on the platform of devotional service, because right now we are in the bodily concept of life, so the same activities are dovetailed in Krishna's service. Then what happens? Gradually we will become free. Our eyes will get more and more opened up. The darkness of ignorance which is blinding our eyes will gradually get uncovered. Then slowly the consciousness will shift. Gradually the importance which give to these things will diminish. Our absorption will become more and more centered around Krishna. And that absorption of the mind in Krishna exclusively, to the exclusion of all our bodily requirements, is actually the desired goal of a devotee. That is why Vritrasura is telling today, what is he saying? He is saying, Aham samadhayo mano. So he is saying, by the force of your thunderbolt, Tvad vajra ramho lulita gramya pasho. By the force of your thunderbolt, you kill me. Why is Vritrasura saying like this? He has become depressed or something? Because of depression he wants to commit suicide? No. He has got another reason. He is saying he is embracing death because he is saying, Tvad Vajra Ramho Lulita Gramya Pasho. I shall give up this body and be freed of material bondage. How will he become free of material bondage? Samadhaya mano, aham samadhaya mano, sankarshanastacharanaravinde. You release your thunderbolt, I am preparing myself, I'll focus my mind on the lotus feet of Sankarshana, and you kill me, and I am liberated. This is what I want. So you see, Vritrasura's goal is aham samadhaya mano sankarshanastacharanaravinde. He wants, when that thunderbolt is released, my mind should be absorbed in the lotus feet of Sankarshana. My mind should not be absorbed how to evade the thunderbolt, how to protect myself, not the bodily concept. I want to be absorbed in the lotus feet of Sankarshana so that when the thunderbolt hits me, I quit my body thinking of the lotus feet of Sankarshana. And Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamaiva iti kaunteya yasada tadbhava bhavitaha. Whatever we remember at the point of death, whatever our mind is absorbed in at the point of death, we will attain that without fail. And so therefore Krishna says, Sada tadbhava bhavitaha. Therefore, always your mind should be absorbed in Krishna. So that's the training that we are undergoing. That's what Prabhupada is training all of us. So the duty of the Guru, the duty of the spiritual master is what? To engage the disciples, to dovetail the same bodily propensities of the disciples in the devotional service of Krishna in such a way that their mind eventually, when the time comes to leave the body, our mind will not be focused on the body, our mind will be absorbed in Krishna. Like the example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the gopis. So that's the goal to be attained. And Vritrasura is stating the same thing. Although Vritrasura is in the body of an asura, we all know he is actually a great devotee of Sankarshana. And his mind, internally, externally, he acted like an asura. Externally, the gopis also were engaged in ordinary household activities. They are making cow dung cakes. They are sprinkling water on the courtyard. They are, sweeping, brooming the house. They are churning the curd. All these things they are doing. But where is their mind? The body may be engaged in these activities as a matter of habit. But where is their mind? Their mind is urukrama chitta yanaha. Their mind is absorbed in Krishna. It is fixed in Krishna. Similarly, we also, when we execute our bodily activities, our mind should be fixed on Krishna. So much so that even if one is in the middle of a battle, fighting for one's life, even there our mind has to be absorbed in Krishna. That is why Krishna told Arjuna, Ma manusmara yudhyacha. So our focus, our concentration, absorption of the mind is not, how will I protect myself? How will I do this? How will I do that? That will happen automatically. Muscle memory will take over and fighting will happen. My mind should be absorbed in Krishna. That is why Vritrasura is telling, Aham samadhayo manaha. Let me prepare myself. Let my mind get absorbed. Where? Sankarshanastacharanaravinde. Let me prepare my mind and concentrate and immerse my mind at the lotus feet of Sankarshana. And at that time, Tvad Vajra, release your Vajra. Ramho, and by the force of that Vajra, Lulita, let me fall down dead. Gramya Pasaha, and by that I'll get liberated from my bodily concept of life, from my attachment to all the bodily possession. Gatim muneryami apaviddha lokaha. And by this, I will get the same destination which great sages like Narada Muni and others have achieved. So, our Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, is also offering us the same thing. Simply every day get up morning for Mangalarti, chant your 16 malas of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and engage in whatever service is assigned to you by your temple commander, by your temple authorities. Prabhupada is assuring, at the time of death, our minds will be absorbed in Krishna, and our Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada, will take us back to Krishna Loka. This is the promise that Prabhupada is giving us. We don't have to do any big thing. We don't have to, in the olden days, like, big yogis and sannyasis and all those people, we don't have to do any gymnastics. Simply do what Prabhupada has told us to do. Over. On the strength of Prabhupada, we will all go back to Godhead. Our minds will get transferred from absorption in the body to absorption of Krishna, and we will also attain the same destination as Gatim Muneryam Apavidha Lokaha. We shall attain the destination of such great sages as Narada Muni. Just as Supreme Lord Krishna has said, Yad Gatva Nanevartante Tadhama Paramam Mama. So this is the destination awaiting all of us if we strictly stick to the lotus feet of Prabhupada and follow his instructions. I'll stop here. If there are any questions or comments, we can discuss. So ultimately, our minds have to become so absorbed in Krishna that, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Unmattera Praya. External people, when they look at us, they will see, these people have gone mad. These are all mad people. How can somebody be like them? This happens, no? Actually, already it has begun. We have given up our desires to work in the material world, earn money, have a family and all these things. So when we express our desire to our friends, relatives and all that, no, I don't want to do all these things, I want to join the temple. What is the first reaction? What happened to this fellow? He was all right till now. His mind has gone crazy. Let us take him to some psychiatrist. Unmattera Praya. Already our madness has started. So, simply we continue along this process, we have to become more and more mad. That is our goal. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, as you told that our routine activities should become automatic, mechanical, and our absorption should be in Krishna. But in order to achieve that automatic state, initially we need to practice those things.
It doesn't come by practice. It's not an artificial thing. Practice what you have to do, how to come to that stage. You have to first take one step at a time. First step is absorb your mind in, whenever you are chanting your rounds, your mind has to be absorbed in hearing what you are chanting. That's the first step. Once you do that, then automatically, rest of the time, your mind will start getting absorbed in Krishna automatically. This has to happen internally. As you get purified, your consciousness gets purified, the more and more, like I said, the transformation will happen. Your mind will get transferred from your body to the holy name of Krishna. So it's not an artificial thing. Artificially you cannot do. So what you have to do is you have to chant your rounds very, very consciously, mindfully, soulfully. You have to chant your rounds, and whenever you get an opportunity, you keep chanting. You are walking somewhere from the temple hall to the ashram prasadam hall. What is your mind absorbed in? Today, what is going to be the menu? My stomach is this one. I am very hungry. Waiting to attack prasadam. Is that this one? Or I am walking from temple hall, from the lecture hall to the prasadam hall. 2-3 minutes is there. Let me chant Krishna's holy name. So constantly, I am taking bath. When I am taking bath, keep chanting Krishna's holy name. So like this, you every moment of your life, avyartha kalatvam, you should fill it with chanting Krishna's holy name. Not limited to 16 rounds. That 16 rounds, it is very concentrated, intense chanting. Where, you keep aside everything else and, shut out the whole world around you. Your mental space, physical space, shut everything out and simply hear what you are chanting. And then, not only that, rest of the time, whenever you get an opportunity, remind yourself to chant Hare Krishna. So gradually, the momentum will shift. And Krishna, when he is pleased by this, he will allow your mind to become more and more absorbed in him. So this happens by the mercy, by the compassion, by the grace of our Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and by Krishna. So we have to depend on the mercy of Krishna and Prabhupada. These things they are not obtained by our personal endeavor. This is obtained by pleasing Krishna and Prabhupada. When we are chanting soulfully, mindfully also Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Why are we doing it like that? Not because I want to become liberated. Not because I want to go back to Godhead. Initially, that feeling may be there. But eventually, it has to get replaced by, I have to chant mindfully, I have to chant soulfully. Why? To please Krishna. It is pleasing to Krishna when I chant His holy name with full absorption and attention. That should be the goal. When that goal comes in, then what will happen? Krishna will become fully pleased. Our Guru Maharaj Srila Prabhupada will become fully pleased. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. And when Krishna becomes pleased, then Krishna will purify our mind. The transformation of the mind will happen. Okay? Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, Shastras say that we should place our faith as much in Krishna, same amount of faith should be there in the Guru.
Yes.
So right now in our conditioned stage, we cannot put faith in Krishna fully. So is it sufficient if we put our faith in Guru? So Guru will help us that develop that faith in Krishna?
Definitely, because Guru is the representative of Krishna. Prabhupada is the representative of Krishna. Our spiritual master is Prabhupada. Prabhupada is the representative of Krishna. So whatever you offer to Prabhupada, Guru, goes directly to Krishna. When we tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya, Krishna says, first thing in spiritual life is adav guru ashrayam. Tadvidhi pranipatena. You have to approach a bona fide spiritual master and you have to surrender to him. So when we come to Prabhupada and surrender to Prabhupada, you are my Guru Maharaj, I am your disciple, please accept me as your disciple, I am surrendering to you. Where is that surrender going? Prabhupada is transferring that back to Krishna. So, if your mind becomes absorbed, if you develop complete conviction in Prabhupada, then that is as good as conviction in Krishna. One devotee asked Prabhupada, is remembering the spiritual master same as remembering Krishna? Prabhupada said yes. So, the Guru is the person who first instills faith in us. We all did not have faith in Krishna that he is the supreme person, right? But we had faith in Prabhupada's words. So when that little adav shraddha, little faith was there, Prabhupada is a sadhu, he is a bona fide Guru. If he is saying something, it must be the truth. That much shraddha we had, and we read Prabhupada's books, and Prabhupada said, Krishna is supreme person. Okay, Krishna is supreme person. I have that faith. So our faith in Krishna is coming from Prabhupada, from our spiritual master. So first, we have to surrender to the spiritual master. First, we have to have faith in the spiritual master. First, we have to have faith in Prabhupada. Then, faith in Krishna will automatically come. You understand? And this faith comes by devotional service. The more we serve the spiritual master's order, and the spiritual master's order is always to serve Krishna. Prabhupada never tells anything other than the service of Krishna. So we follow the orders of the spiritual master and we serve the spiritual master. Our relationship with the spiritual master and with Krishna will get stronger simultaneously. It is a unique thing. If your relationship with Prabhupada, if your faith in Prabhupada increases, proportionately your faith in Krishna will increase. So you cannot directly develop faith in Krishna because we are the bodily concept of life, so much contaminations are there, consciousness is not pure, so many issues are there. We have so many material desires. So, we place our faith in Prabhupada, that he is my Guru, he is my spiritual master, and whatever he says, I accept it as truth and I will follow it. And this will develop our faith in Krishna automatically. The reverse is not true. If I try to develop my faith in Krishna independent of the Guru, faith in Guru also will not come, faith in Krishna also will not come. So faith in Krishna comes by developing our faith in Guru. Okay? Anybody else? Yes, please. One last point we'll take up.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. My question is, we are in the lineage of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we have pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Chota Haridas Thakur.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and
Chota Haridas Thakur.
Yes.
That he is very strict in Brahmacharya, and
Yes.
that Haridas Thakur saw at women with bad intention and he was rejected.
Chota Haridas, not
Yes.
Haridas Thakur. Yeah.
So my question is like, we have surrendered to Srila Prabhupada, and we are not that much serious, and we are not that much surrender. Like we have so much contaminations, and we are getting attracted to opposite sex and all these things. So will we get the blessings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or we will also be get rejected? Or so that is the question. Can you please enlighten?
So, about this pastime of Chota Haridas, if you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada explains what is it that we have to learn, what is the lesson that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to teach us through the example of Chota Haridas. I think there are 5 or 7 lessons that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that we have to learn. So there, one of the things Prabhupada says, one of the lessons we have to learn is that sannyasi has to be very strict in his vow. Another thing Prabhupada says is that this is a lesson for the leaders of the Krishna consciousness movement, how they have to be very strict in following the principles. So, the lesson from Chota Haridas pastime is not that like Chota Haridas, we also have to go to Prayag and commit suicide. That's not the lesson. Definitely, that's not the lesson which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to teach. Chota Haridas and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at their level, they are doing a pastime. What is the lesson they want to teach us? That you should not take it very lightly. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had not chastised Chota Haridas like that, what would happen in the future? Many people would take the example of Chota Haridas, take sannyas and have very close, intimate relationship with women. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to set an example how when devotional life, we have to be very, very strict about these things. We cannot be lenient about these things. That is why you will see when Prabhupada went to the US also, in the beginning stages especially, many people like Allen Ginsberg and all those people told Prabhupada that Swamiji, you should not insist so much on these 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. If you insist too much on this, you lose many people. Many people will not come to you. Prabhupada said, let them go, but I cannot compromise. And there were groups, rock groups or whatever they were. They used to come and hear Prabhupada. After hearing Prabhupada talking about the 4 regulative principles, they left. Prabhupada did not stop. Prabhupada continued talking about the 4 regulative principles. So Prabhupada was very strict on this. And later also, you will see in 1974, there were devotees who were complaining to Prabhupada. I don't want to name them. Sannyasi, senior leaders who were talking to Prabhupada. These 4 regulative principles are too strict. We want a little flexibility. And Prabhupada said, this flexibility will ruin you. You'll go to hell because of this. So I cannot do this. There cannot be flexibility in this. So that's the example what Prabhupada wants us to learn, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants us to learn from the example of Chota Haridas. Not that we have to go and commit suicide or that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will reject us, Prabhupada will reject us, not like that. The fact is, we cannot be lenient, we have to strictly follow, and on the strength of our sadhana, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, if we are soulfully chanting, hearing and all that, and every day reading Prabhupada's books, avyartha kalatvam, every moment we are absorbed in our services, then Krishna and the holy name will protect us from falling prey to these distractions of the mind. Because of the force of our karma, because of the force of the body, these pushings will be there. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam. These are all pushings of the mind. Naturally, as long as we have this material body and we are in the bodily concept of life, these pushings of the body will be there. Attraction for the opposite sex, attraction for intoxication, attraction for meat eating. All these things will be there. But the point is, are we inclined to fulfill them or not? If we are running after fulfilling them, then that's a problem. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Apuryamanam achala pravish. What is that? So that verse, Krishna says, Samudramāpaha pravishanti yadvat. Just like the waters of the rivers are flowing into an ocean, but the ocean is steady and calm. It's not that river water is not flowing in at all. River water is constantly flowing into the ocean from different direction. But the ocean is undisturbed. So what is Krishna telling in that example? Krishna is telling, if you see the purport also, Prabhupada talks about it, that when we are practicing Krishna consciousness, when we are sadhakas, material desires, the force of material desires will come. But are we inclined to fulfill them or not? That's the question. If we are absorbed in Krishna's service, if we are loyal to Prabhupada, then what will happen? That inclination to fulfill those desires will not be there. Desires will keep popping up. But no, I am not interested in fulfilling them. So that strength comes from the quality of our chanting the holy name. The whole foundation of our spiritual life is based on how well the quality of our chanting is the foundation of our spiritual life. How well we are able to progress in spiritual life, how strongly we are able to follow the regulative principles, it all depends upon the quality of our chanting. So, the popping up of the desires in our mind, the attraction that is there in our mind on account of our past karma, conditioning of the body, the bodily, the loss of karma, all these things will keep happening. So that's not important. What is important is that desire when it pops up, how we handle that. We are not inclined to fulfill that. So we pray to Krishna and Prabhupada that we want to become free from such desires. And we constantly keep engaging ourselves in Krishna's service. Then eventually, the force of these desires will slowly come down. Eventually, because it's a process of purification. Krishna also tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Yas sodam prak sharira vimokshanat. One who is able to come to the point of being able to, yaha sodam, to be able to tolerate these forces, prak sharira vimokshanat, before he leaves his body. Before the moment of death comes, you should be able to control these urges. So that means it is a lifelong practice. It's not going to happen overnight. So, lifelong, every day you have to chant Hare Krishna mantra, you have to hear soulfully, mindfully, all these things. Then that everyday practice, gradually it will go on increasing your spiritual strength. And before you leave your body, you will be able to come to a stage where the forces are completely subdued. And we will be able to absorb our mind in Krishna and go back to God. Okay? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल.